Let's try it. How about now? I won't zoom it in because I know you don't like it. But so there's this on this laser though. There's supposed to be this little swing down arm, right? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be on the laser, and you swing that down, and that's like what comes in contact with the surface you're lasering it on, so that it makes sure that it's at the right focal length. And this is just not on that laser head. So don't know why you wouldn't put that on there, because that's kind of a thing to make your life easier. No, Phil's gonna do it anyways. See?
No, fuck it.
What did I do?
Jake doesn't like it when his face takes up the whole frame.
It's awkward for me.
Well, I don't like the dead space on the sides of us.
I mean, you know, I can deal with it. You know, I just
do we need the other format?
no, it's
Hold on.
cool. I just feel like my head's huge, so it's cool. Yeah.
Hey,
Chilling.
if the shoe
I'm chilling,
fits,
I'm
buddy.
chilling. I can just try and.
You guys, this is the current god awful fire hazard of a setup for this laser that I'm playing with.
Laser?
Yeah, I got a laser, dude.
Like a laser engraver?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
I've been wanting to get one for a while now, and there was one on Facebook that was at a really good price, so I went ahead and jumped on it, and I've been playing with it.
That's cool.
Did this a little while ago. I can't get things centered on it.
What is it? I can't even see.
It's the Low Country Cigar Club
okay, cool.
logo.
Very cool.
It's not centered.
I did some coasters. This one's definitely not centered. That one though, like you can't do lighter on dark because it just doesn't. So I don't. But you know, been playing, learning.
Yeah.
Not as difficult as I was expecting it to be.
I'm sure you'll get it.
It's fun. I got the dude gave me like a bunch of extra patches and blanks and stuff that he had, and some safety glasses so I don't blind myself.
Cool.
Which is really difficult because it's hard not to stare at it and watch it while it does that thing, but it's straight up like staring at the sun. It's crazy bright.
It's like a fucking welder with his little laser.
Yeah.
Hold
the neighbors probably think that I'm got some like Doc Brown DeLorean stuff going on because you just see blue light flashing constantly from the garage.
Nice. Just buy one of those flux capacitors that they sell on eBay that has like the LED lights in it and just mount it on the wall. There you go.
But we're here. It's Monday.
And but Brandon Valentine, are they ill-tempered? They are mutated sea bass. Episode 208.
That's great.
Always late.
Appreciate.
I made it by like a minute.
No, you're still late.
I'm still late.
As always, this episode is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out, Facebook, Instagram. Use that code THN at checkout. Save yourself some money. Save yourself even more money by doing the pickup option instead of shipping. If you're on the general Southeast region, there's a pickup option. So just take a U-Haul, take a trailer, whatever, hop up there, grab your stuff, drive home, set it up, love it forever. Pretty easy. Engraved Jake twerking on a wallet for me.
I bet you could do a money clip.
I could do it. I could do a wallet. It could happen.
Nice.
Listen, I'm thick, but I can't move like that. So, you know.
Just like the Morty from Rick and Morty, where like he's like popping it back with his hands and his knees. Just Jake, you know.
Yeah. We could do that.
I'll take that challenge. I bet you I could do it. I'm not great at Photoshop, but I'm pretty good.
Oh, I'll make it. I'll make the photo. You just put it on the wallet.
God damn it.
Yep.
Black Box Cages. You need a rack, you need a cage. Hop on over there, shop around, check it out. And then hop on over to fulviusapparel.com. Get yourself something nice. Hats, shirts, maybe coasters and stuff at some point if I can figure this out. And patch hats, maybe. I don't know. We're breaking the fourth wall and getting into more things. And yeah, so actually, if you're going to Daytona, I'm gonna have about 200 of these bad boys.
Look at that.
I made over the weekend, thanks to shout out to Paul McIntyre at For Real 3D, who did the heat transfers for me and sent them to me, and then I spent the whole weekend putting 400 of these bad boys on 200 koozies, and I got some red koozies, some yellow koozies, and some black koozies.
Hell yeah!
So I'm just gonna be handing those out. We know you degenerates like to drink and stuff, and you're gonna need something to keep it cold. So what a better way to do that than to be throwing out some foam koozies.
Hell yeah!
So getting ready for Daytona, excited about it. I'm feeling more confident about it.
Okay.
I still want to set up sort of like a mock setup here at home and see how I want to lay out the background thing and stuff and all that. So
yeah,
maybe I'll do that this weekend. I was going to tackle it over the weekend.
Got time.
The laser happened and I got distracted.
The laser.
Speaking of delicious drinks and keeping them at the appropriate temperature, cold-blooded caffeine, get yourself the Snakes and Stogies blend. Skirt.
Pinkies
Right there,
out.
as the kids say. Mexican Rwandan blend. It's delicious. Use the code SMOKE at checkout. Get 10% off your order. Whether it's our coffee or any of the other affiliate blends, or you can't go wrong. They're all good. So enjoy them, love them,
drink them,
get it all, collect them all. That's right. Hey, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
Jake, so Phil, please.
Did anyone introduce Jake tonight?
I'm not.
Hold on a second.
I'm not wrong, dude.
Has Jake never been on Snakes and Stogies? Because I'm almost positive he has once.
I think he has.
I've never once.
I'm almost positive he has, dude. Like
I can tell you,
I forget a lot, but I
can tell you,
you know what it is
for a fact. I've never been on Snakes and Stogies.
I'll tell you, he's probably never been on Snakes and Stogies, but we did have several THP episodes where it was the three of us.
Yes.
Maybe.
I've never once been on a sole Snakes and Stogies episode.
I'm disturbed by that information.
For everyone listening from their daily commute to work in their vehicle, not being able to see this blessed creature of the red beard, welcome to the show, Jacob Bratz, co-host of the Herpetoculture podcast, co-host of Flippin' Tin, and any other projects you're working on right now?
No.
That's good enough. Good enough.
Other than Longleaf, no.
Oh yeah, Longleaf Reptilia.
Hi, Jake.
How were them eggs doing?
You had them eggs, boy.
Everybody's looking good, man. I've got 4 clutches on the ground now. I just made a post today about my Decker's laid about a little over a week ago. But she was egg bound with 2 eggs, and she dropped one of the 2 a couple days ago, and then last night she dropped the last one. So I can breathe and sleep a little easier now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got 4 on the ground right now, and we're rocking and rolling. 2 more clutches to go, and 2 water snake litters, and that'll be my season probably.
Wait, so the water snakes are out, or they're either percolating?
They're gravid. Yeah, both. Yeah. I've got a trio of Citrus County, Florida bandeds together right now, and both females are gravid. So
nice.
I'm kind of waiting. I thought I was going to come home from Florida with water snakes running all over the cage, but I did not. So
it's good, man.
Still waiting.
That's good.
Yeah. So,
Smitty lagging out a little bit.
Polo.
Yeah, I'm going to restart my modem real quick. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. So yeah, that's now. Did you have? You said you had pine eggs that were gonna be coming?
My albino Florida pine is gravid. She just went into her prelay shed.
Excellent, because I know you were concerned when we were out and about that you might come home to a mess of eggs not in the correctness.
Yeah, I was a little worried because like she got so big, and I was like, oh, I'm worried she's going to say go fuck yourself and like not do a prelay because she got so massive. But I came home to her in shed, so I guess she's going to go the normal route and give me a prelay shed, which is all fine.
Well, I'll give you some unsolicited. Is it unsolicited advice? Is that when someone gives you?
Please. Yeah.
What is it called when someone gives you advice and you didn't ask?
Unsolicited.
Okay, there you go.
For sure. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. I haven't bred anything in a long time, right?
Yeah.
But I got to the point where I stopped like looking for and or recognizing prelay shed because I had so many snakes. I mean, I didn't breed that much stuff, but I had so many snakes. It was like, oh, this is the one. And then they'd shed and then nothing. And then like a month later, be like, oh, it's only been a month. This is the one. And then she shed and then like nothing.
Yeah.
And then 2 more months would go by, no shed, and then she dropped or whatever. So I honestly give up on it. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, I guess like I'm not breeding that much stuff, and like I don't pay that much attention to it. But with the albino pines, I've been paying extra attention to it because they were 100% my most anticipated pairing of the year. And so I've kind of been waiting, hoping. And then all of a sudden, like the female just got like fucking huge. And I was like,
nice.
Oh, there it is, And
excellent.
So she's in her prelay shed now. And at least I think she is, I could be full of shit. So we'll find
She's either gonna deposit some beautiful, healthy, stellar eggs, or she's gonna have the biggest turd of her life.
Excuse me. If that's the case, I either said I sent in a chat somewhere. I was like, she's either gravid or something is very, very wrong.
Yeah,
because like a turd, you can kind of tell a big turd when she's holding it, but she's been holding it for like a couple weeks now. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, she's gravid, and have got Santa Rosa white oaks in the baiter, Apalachicola white oaks in the baiter, Deckerts, and Forkline or Brewster County Forkline gopher steaks in the baiter.
Excellent.
On the dock is Seminole County yellows, and then the pines, and then
hell yeah.
And then the bandits. So
good stuff.
Yeah, man. Pretty sticked. Pretty sticked.
I'm back.
You're back.
Well,
crystal clear.
You look different now, Mr. Buzzhead.
I know, dude. It's too hot for long hair, man. It just like this time of year, especially, it starts getting long, and I'm like, I want it gone. It's gets extra hot under the hats.
Isn't it crazy?
So much hair. You got like 4 layers.
The beard doesn't bother me in summer, but the hair's got to go. Isn't that weird?
1000%.
Yeah,
it is strange. Maybe it's because it gets more airflow. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like not under the hat probably. I will say this:
doesn't bother me.
I always wear hats. Like I wear a hat almost every day, and I worked with a guy for we've worked together at least 13, 14 years now, but it was a solid 7 or 8 years I worked with this guy. And then one day I took my hat off at work to like scratch my head. And he goes, oh my God, you have hair. I was like, yeah. He goes, oh, I thought you were bald. That's why you always wear the hat. And I was like, no, man, I just love hats.
I forgot you had a whole half of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a man. I like to say I'm a man of many hats. I've got a gajillion hats that just sit next to
girls got their shoes. We got our hats, man.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
What are you smoking tonight, Phil?
Nothing. I'm so behind. Like I rushed out here and like threw shit out. So like if I get a minute, I'll run and go see if I got something for tonight. But I'm very ill prepared. I had no beverage. I just grabbed like some iced tea real quick, and I'm like,
a freak.
I won't lie. For those who don't know, Jake, Skyler, and I went herping this weekend in the Glades, and I'm a big Thermacell fan. Thermacell butane powered mosquito repellent. And with the exception of a couple bites on my forearms, I'm fantastic from the knee up. Okay. But my dumbass came straight from work and I was wearing shorts and I got annihilated from the knee down to the point where I almost left work today because it's not an allergic reaction, but I'm so itchy that I took Benadryl at work, which I was like, this is a bad idea. Like, I'm not gonna be able to drive home because I don't react to Benadryl well. So like I've been popping Zyrtec like they're Skittles, and it's working to a certain extent. But dude, I'm fucked up right now. I am.
Dude,
I gotta be honest.
If I took Benadryl earlier today, I'd be asleep. I can't
Yeah.
Benadryl.
I know, like, I guess the packs I had, it was like from my like emergency kit in my car because it's like at work when like the shit flared up, and it comes in 2 little 25 milligram pills, and you're supposed to take both. And I was like, no, I'm gonna take one, see what it does. If it doesn't work, I'll take the other one. And it worked for about 2.5-3 hours. And then right at that like 3-hour mark, I was like, oh God, I gotta take another one. I had to take the second one. So
it's coming back.
It's coming back. I'm like right now, like I'm on a Zyrtec right now. I'm on the Z right now. And I'm talking to you guys, try not to think about it, but like I'm gonna peel my flesh off.
I'm gonna get the cheese grater, man.
No, I'm just gonna take one of my Nepalese kukris, and I'm just gonna shave my skin off. Fuck it.
Yeah, dude, the Mozzies are bad, bro. I learned.
Dude,
I learned from the night before. I was like, I'm not wearing shorts tomorrow with Phil. That was that was something else, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought.
And dude, I wear shorts road cruising all the time, and like you're out of the car, you get bit once or twice, no big deal, dude. We got annihilated, man.
I don't know what it was. I guess like I don't know if like it was specifically that night we were there, but like the night before that and that night, it was like I thought the mosquitoes we had here were bad. These things were like little helicopters, and they were like by the thousands, and they just swarmed. I was like, this is. I knew everybody talked about being bad, but I was like, man, I live in the South. Like, can't be much worse than what we have. It was so much worse.
Yeah. And like we have, I think Florida's got 41 or 42 different species of mosquito. And I think somebody fact check me, please. And I'm pretty sure like only 7 or 8 of them actually like predate on us. But the one that's the worst is the tiger. And it's a good sized mosquito. It's hairy, and it's got these beautiful black and white, like almost zebra stripes on its legs. That's where it gets the name tiger. And dude, that's all there was. We got assaulted.
It was a good sized skater.
Yeah, it was like the Shangani Patrol in there. It was
like the
wild, man.
Jumanji.
Yeah, dude, seriously. And like, you want to count them, like how many I got like below the knee, and I don't, because it's got to be 50 to 100. It's got to be.
So Google says Florida is home to around 80 to 90 species of mosquitoes, including up to 17 non-native species.
Wow.
So
I had no idea. I was way off. Samsonite. I was way
off.
Yeah. Globally, there are about 3,500 species of mosquitoes, and about 80 species occur in Florida.
Jeez.
Wow.
So what blows my mind is that there's someone somewhere who's dedicated their life to studying those, and then like gnats and like all these tiny nondescript bugs that you just see randomly like crawling around on your leg or something. You have no idea what it is. It just looks like a little fly or something. But there's a guy somewhere who has spent half of his life going to school so he could determine what that little nondescript bug is.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Those same people say the same thing about snake people.
I'm sure they do.
They do.
They're like, there's some asshole that's dedicated their life to separating species of snakes. What a fucking weirdo.
And Valentine wants to know where my damn canister thingy was. I had it. We were literally holding
it. Was right there, dude.
And that's
tape them to your legs now. Next time, tape one to each leg and just walk around like that.
Yeah, I got about 6 on my right arm below the sleeve, the short sleeve line, and I got about 4 on my left. And that's because I was holding the device every time we got out of the car. But like from the knee down, like I was literally sweeping it around my legs and shit. And dude, from the knee down, I can't even look at it.
I will say when we stopped for one of the cottonmouths, like yeah, we were looking at it, and I went over to rock a piss real quick, and dude, I tell you, like even though it wasn't there wasn't that big of a difference, it was noticeable. Whenever I went around the car and took a piss, I was just swarmed, and then I walked over back by you, and it was
I'd be
like slightly
keep
better.
them away from my manhood.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I wanted to show you guys, I completely forgot to, but because of most cars, the exhaust comes out the back, right? Whether you got 2 pipes or 1 pipe or whatever.
Yeah.
So my car's got dual exhaust coming out the back of it's Subaru coming out the back. And if you walk around the back of the car after you've taken your snake photos and you shine a light, there's thousands of them huddled on the rear bumper of the car because they're just latched onto that carbon dioxide coming out of the engine. It's wild, man.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It's crazy.
Oh God, I'm itching just talking about it. Ugh.
Yeah. I came out pretty good.
You wore pants.
Yeah, that night. The night before I didn't, and we were in the middle of ENP and I just getting after it, but we made everything quick once the sun went down.
Yeah. So, I'm at a point now with hiking and stuff to where it's like I'd rather be hot and wearing pants than wearing shorts and getting eaten alive like that. Because it also like the ticks and stuff, it's a nice little buffer there. And it's just like as much as it sucks this time of year, as hot as it gets, like I'll suck it up with the pants. And
it makes you really appreciate desert herping. It really does, dude.
This weekend was exactly why I talked to you about getting long sleeve dry fit shirts for me and Scott.
Was it?
Yeah, literally. Like that's why I asked for it. Like
random. Now
I need flippin' tin long sleeve dry fit shirts.
And you're talking about like the Under Armour material?
Yeah.
Dude, they'll bite through it. That's a waste.
It's still better than short sleeve, dude.
I'd rather wear heavy ass cotton and sweat my ass off and know that I'm gonna have some mosquito protectant than have like Under Armour and them just going through it.
Well, I think Smitty's are going to be a little thicker than the Under Armour stuff.
They're not like the tight fitted
like the Columbia Under Armour stuff. It's supposed to be high quality, but that's supposed to be more so for like the sun.
Yeah,
I think Smitty's are going to be a little. They're going to be a little
lower.
Have
the UPF and stuff on them,
right? But they're going to be a little bit thicker than the Columbia and the Under Armour stuff. So
Lisa asks, don't they prefer certain blood types, or is that a myth? I always heard that it was legitimately the carbon dioxide output that you release through your skin, and that's why like people say, I smoke cigarettes and they'll stay away from me, and like that's the smoke itself may be a deterrent to them, and it may appear as a facade, but when you're smoking, you're releasing off the carbon monoxide, your breath's carbon dioxide, it attracts them. And
I don't know, man. Anytime it's there's gnats and stuff, I don't get bit nearly as much.
But gnats aren't mosquitoes, man.
When I'm smoking. So.
Yeah. I always say like when people are used to it, they're getting tore up and they're not bothering me. I'm like, it's because you got that sweet blood.
Yeah, right.
You're not used to it, so you got the sweet blood that you haven't been tainted yet.
Yeah. Truth.
It's rough, man. It's rough.
So yeah, that was definitely a detriment to my past 24 hours. But
I just scratch until I bleed.
Dude, I'm trying not to, man. I really am.
I just do it, dude.
I'm trying not to.
Sweet relief.
Oh God, it just makes it worse.
Just makes
and then you get an infection and
I actually did that today. I was scratching on my leg, I'm assuming from a mosquito bite, and all of a sudden I had like blood on my fingers, and I was like, what the fuck? And I looked down and there's just blood running down my leg. I was like, that's great.
Yeah. Then my mom was reading this morning. She's telling me that she read on a local Channel 7 or whatever that South Florida has the highest number of dengue fever cases in the past 50 years.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's
good for us.
Surprising.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense if there were anything in South Florida that you were going to catch outside of like West Nile, then
yeah. Well, I mean, we had Zika running around Miami for a while, but it seems to have kind of fizzled out a little bit. that was a big scare. Like people weren't going down to, they weren't going like downtown Miami, like the club districts and stuff. It was a ghost town because everyone was just afraid of the Zika.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Brandon asked, how far did you have to drive?
For our trip, or just to where mosquitoes carry you away? The mosquitoes carry you away. Oh, to meet up with the boys. So I drove. Let's see. I think it's about 110 miles from my work to their motel, and then we drove probably about 100 miles road cruising last night. Would you say about that? Maybe less. Maybe 60, 70.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
We drove a lot. We drove for what you got there at like 8.
I got there at 8. Yeah.
We drove till about 3:30 in the morning. So
Yeah.
Yep. Can't catch me. I'm the gingerbeard man.
Yep. Gingerbeards unite.
It feels right there with me. Come on, buddy.
I feel like Jake's has gotten redder over the
Jake's
years.
is awfully red.
It was never that red, and then as you
that's because it's gotten long. That's the thing. I've let it grow out a little bit, and the longer it gets, the more obvious.
So, Jake, I have a question for you, because I've met very few people in my life where their top hair, it does not match their beard, specifically if it's a red beard. And you're blonde, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you have a red beard. Is your mom or dad have red hair?
That's not where I thought you were going with that for a second.
No, but weirdly enough, my adopted brother is the exact same way. He's got blonde hair and red facial hair.
Really? Interesting.
You guys were separated at birth.
Maybe.
Well, he's from the Ukraine.
What if you two were adopted?
Well, it's like, because people always tell me that my dad's got black hair and my mom has red hair. So like, they told me like, okay, I have brown hair on my head and red beard, right? That's because it's half and half. I want to know if it was the same for you. I mean, who knows? Where's Doc Wine when you need him?
So my dad is bald, but
he had hair at one point.
According to him, he had blonde hair, but he's got more of a brown beard. He said he has more of like my colored hair, like a sandy blonde. Everybody says I have strawberry blonde hair. I think that's fucking dumb. But I just have like a sandy blonde, and my mom just has brown hair. So
interesting.
In the streets, they call you a dirty blonde.
But see, like, dirty blonde. Like, but my sister has brown hair. You know, so I got blonde, and somehow this came out. So where it did come though is my grandfather, whom I never met, apparently also had a red beard. I don't know what color his hair was.
Okay.
But I never met him. He passed away before I was born. But my grandma always told me before I died, she said, "Yeah, Homer always grew a red beard. He always shaved it off."
Nice.
That was her way.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, thanks, Grandma. You know, but so I guess it came from my grandfather. I'm not sure about that. So,
but yeah, it was to where Jake and Sky were was an area that I try to go to every couple of months, just to even for just a couple hours, just to drive around and see. And I knew exactly where they were, and like Sky sent me the GPS for the motel, and I was like, dude, I know that motel. Like, you drive by it, like you know that motel. And dude, it was easy because I left work at just the right time. I missed the traffic heading west, and it's all highway right to them. So it panned out. And I made sure I had stuff in the car. All I needed to do was get gas. I got some snacks, and I hit the road. So it was good.
Yeah, you made pretty good time getting there from when you called us.
Yeah. It's like an hour and 40, hour and 30, something like that.
It was a whole lot farther for me, my friend.
I know.
Googly moogly.
Yeah.
Did you go down to Skies and then stay there for a night and then drive down to South, or did you just pick up Sky and y'all just kept going?
Well, so I left. I woke up on Friday. I woke up at about 4 a.m. I was leaving my house. I woke up at 4. I got out of bed around 4:30. I left my house around 5. I met up in Jacksonville, or I met Preston in Jacksonville. to pick up a Ridley eye from him and give him a corn snake. And then from there, I went to Sky's. I got to Sky's place and we hung out, fed some monitors. And as soon as he was ready, we headed south. And he's about, the day we left, it was about 4.5 hours because we had a few stops to make. And then on the way back, it took us about 3.5 hours. So it was a long day either way, but I'm a solid 5.5 hours from Sky's place. So
Yeah.
So Sunday was a real long day. We didn't get back until about 3:30 that night, Phil.
Okay.
Or I guess Sunday morning is when you dropped us off at the motel.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it was later than that. I think it was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got home like 5:45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Phil dropped us off. I think we woke up at about 8:30. So rocking on about 4 hours of sleep. And drove back to Skies. So like we made really good time because traffic wasn't bad. It took us about 3.5 hours, and then it was 5.5 hours ride home. So,
wow. Yeah, man. I the days of me herping all night and then like getting 3-4 hours of sleep and then like working a whole day. Dude, I'm too old for that shit now, man. I tried to. I slept for like 4 hours, and then my dog was like, "Hey, man, it's morning. Why are you asleep?" You know, and he woke me up, and I just like kept. I had the day off. I was just hanging out at home, and I just kept passing out, like taking like hour pop naps. So,
dude,
we did it.
That's why, like today. So I got home at about 6-7 o'clock yesterday. And, I hung out with Kayla and just kind of just hung around, fell asleep, slept for like, I don't know how many hours. But I took off my day job and my night job today so I could just kind of chill for the day because I knew I was going to be
beat.
I was going to be dead for the day. So,
yeah, I need to start doing that more often for like the Daytona weekends and stuff. Like it's nice to just have that extra day off when you come home.
Yeah.
Just.
I do that when I know I'm going to be.
Like, nah, I don't need to.
I did it mostly because I didn't know what our sleep was going to be like, and I didn't know what time we were going to come back on Sunday. So if we didn't get to Skies until later, I was just going to crash on the night at Skies. But even for Daytona, like we always get back on Sunday. I always take Monday off of work just as like a recovery day, check on the animals, deal with anything that they need, and just
yeah.
I think I did that this year. I need to double check the calendar.
Yeah, I do it every year.
Because I remember every year I'm like, I should take that Monday off, and I don't, and then I regret it.
Every year, man. Every year. It's because it's rough. It's rough.
Are we ready for Daytona?
Yeah.
It's gonna be here. I feel like I'm blank. It's gonna be here, man.
Yeah, it's literally like what, 7 weeks away?
Well, I'm the only one on this on the stream that is not vending, so I'm always ready. As far as I'm concerned. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, it's free safety.
Yeah. So
Jake and I were talking about vending and stuff the other day, though, and he was, he had mentioned how he doesn't want to vend like Daytona in Florida just because of all this stuff, like all the hoops you got to jump through. But I don't know that it's that bad. So I don't know, Phil, what was your... Yeah, I know you got to have like a docket of like everything you've got and how long you've had it,
right,
and that kind of stuff. But is it really that?
It's not. Jake and I were talking about that Saturday night, and it's not as bad as it's made out to be, but it's still a pain in the ass. Basically, you need to have a Class 3 animal seller's license for Florida, which is no big deal. It's $50. You just get it, and unless you're selling restricted stuff like venomous or red-eared sliders or something like to iguanas, something to that extent, unless it's something restricted, it's just $50 and that's it. Now, the problem is Florida has its own Florida state import license. It's a free license, but you need it to bring animals into Florida. You don't need it to send them out, but you need to bring them in. And that's basically the state's way of keeping tabs on what people are bringing in. Now, I'm not telling anyone to break the law, but if you were to like go to Georgia and buy a pet and drive it across the border, there's really no way that anyone would ever know. You know what I mean? But because we do things the right way and we're on the up and up, when you do vend a show like Daytona, you need to get your import license if you're from out of state. And the import license basically says, you know, hi, I'm Phil, and I'm bringing in 50 bearded dragons, and I'm bringing in 100 corn snakes, and I, live in South Carolina, and I'll be driving them down. And then the state gives
more
you
of a declaration than anything else.
Yeah, correct. And the state says, okay, cool, have fun in Daytona. Basically, that's it. But if you are vending Daytona and Fish and Wildlife comes around and you don't have your Florida import license and you don't have that Class 3 seller's license, well, guess what? You close up shop. Done. So it's like I have both, even though I really don't sell anything. I got them so that I could kind of do what I want when I want, even though, like I said, I don't sell anything. I don't bring anything in. But actually, the last time I brought anything in was a clobberite that I bought from Kyle, and yeah, that was the last time. That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, and Joe said you also have to, as far as at the show, he said you have to have your inventory list at the show, and
Right.
that's a big thing too. Is make sure you have a list.
But that's a date. That's a National Reptile Breeders Expo thing. That's not a state thing.
Yeah. But I heard somebody, I don't remember who it was, it was either last year or the year before. Somebody said FWC came to their table or, whoever, and, basically was like, let's see your list. And they didn't have one.
Yeah,
and they were gone. They got out of the show,
Yeah.
So
of all the shows that are not sort of the franchise shows, like Repticon or the Show Me shows or whatever, like, Daytona's the one that I would make the effort to do all that stuff for. If it were really anything else or like a smaller show that was more frequent, I doubt that I would take the time to do it. But if it's Daytona, it's a once a year thing. Like,
well, see, for me, like, as fun as Daytona is and how much I enjoy it and how much I would love to vend, I don't really have anything that spectacular. If I'm being at least to the general public, to me, it's all fucking incredible.
Right.
But to the general public, I don't know if it's worth going through Daytona. So I thought about this in the aspect of like trying to vend some of the North Carolina Show Me shows, because I won't vend Repticon. You couldn't pay me to vend Repticon, let alone have me pay to have a booth at one of their shows. So I thought about vending some of the North Carolina Show Me shows, and because I am getting to the point that I could vend some shows and have a good bit of variety with all the stuff I'm breeding nowadays. So that's kind of how it all got brought up. Is I don't know if I want to vend Daytona as great as it would be. I just don't know if it's worth it for somebody like myself and the stuff I work with.
Yeah.
We have a good guinea pig this year with Montross, so
yeah, I'll be curious how Montross does.
Oh, he's vending?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I will be very curious how he does, because I'm kind of a Montross. So.
But you look at like the stuff that Billy has, usually like the stuff he brought last year, like there was guys like Joe that were looking very specifically for certain things that Billy just happened to have.
Yeah, there's always guys like that, but even with Billy, like he usually brings some more of the rare European and Asiatic stuff, so that makes more sense. Somebody like me who's got a bunch of North American locality rat snakes, they're going to look at two different, localities yellows, and they're going to be like, what's the difference? I'm going to be like, you don't understand. Like they're so different. They're
just don't get it, bro.
They don't look different. I'm like, well, go fuck yourself, So,
because they're little gray worms. They're babies.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, like Trumbauer sells out every year. I mean, granted, he doesn't bring a ton.
But
Rob Nimmo seems to do really well.
Right, but those guys are those guys, So I'm not dogging Jake. I love Jake, and I think
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's brass tacks of it,
Yeah.
So I really thought about like if whenever I do start to vend, like I know a lot of people are like bring an adult to show what they look like. If I ever vend, I'm only bringing
Yeah,
stuff I want to sell just
with
for
that stuff, you almost have to. Like
yeah,
with the
with
bear.
biosecurity purposes, So I thought with stuff like bears and like the different localities, yellows, I really want to print off like big pictures of the adults and have them right behind, like have the delis set up right behind them. So even though they're little gray worms, be like, this is a picture of the adult
mom
female.
and dad.
Yeah. So to have like a visual representation versus bringing the actual adults, because like it's a whole biosecurity thing for me. I don't want to bring something that I'm not going to sell just for the purpose of I don't want to quarantine it when I get back. Um, so that's just me. But yeah, whenever it comes down to it, like I will be trying to bring high quality pictures of the adults to try and show visual representations of everything.
It's good.
So, that's just me though.
Yeah. I feel like as much as we're all colubrid guys, obviously, and Daytona is becoming a colubrid show. I feel like even, and again, just going off Jake's stuff, locality specific rat snakes. Like you look at someone like Dan Parker, who's got locality specific king snakes, and he kills it, man. And like these are people that live in Florida and could, in theory, drive to that county and find that locality, but they still appreciate his finely tuned captive bred stuff. So who's to say that if you had locality specific yellow rats that are friendly because they're captive bred and hand tame and you know what mom and dad's going to look like, I think they do well.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they wouldn't. That's why I'm curious how Montrose does this year. Like as of this year, like I'm nowhere. I am nowhere near being able to actually do it. Number one, my eggs will be hatching like right around Daytona, so I wouldn't be able to anyways, But I am curious how Montrose is going to do with a lot of just locality Pantherophis and Nerodia and stuff like that. So, and who knows, like down the road, like I will have more carpet pythons to go. So like when everything's really off and popping, like, I would consider a little bit more,
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just, we'll see. I'm definitely not against it. I would love to split a table. Or I'm not split a table. Yeah, I was reading Lisa's.
Well, I mean, but you could, you
I
could have
could.
friends too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like me and Sky have talked about vending as flipping tin. Kind of having me under the name and us both vending and doing that, and selling some animals and then selling some merch for the podcast. But I don't know, man. Like I'm really just not at the point to be vending that much, but I'm at the point where I need to start thinking about it, and I do really want to start doing shows. So, it's one of those things. I'm trying to decide if I just want to do Daytona every year, like when the time comes, or if I want to look at doing some of the North Carolina show me shows. I feel like I would. I've never been to any of the North Carolina shows, so I do want to go check them out first before I even consider it. But I feel like I would stick out a little bit more at some of those shows versus Daytona.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
It's just stuff to think about,
Yeah.
And plus like, I breed, I've got, some Florida pine snakes and southern pines, and can't show up Daytona with those. So
well, I mean, albinos you can.
That's true. No, but true. even albinos you can't sell them.
Why not? They're albinos.
They have to be gifted.
You're kidding. They're albinos.
Yeah, even morph if they're, as far as I understand it, even morph Florida pines you can have, or morph or southern or Florida or southern pines, you can have as many morphs as you want, but you still can't buy them.
Really interesting.
As far as I have understood it. So with the normals, you can have one normal, no matter if it has heads, no nothing. You can have one normal, has to be gifted. As far as the morphs, you can have as many as you want, but you cannot buy them. They have to be gifted. So I'm not completely sure about that. I might be wrong, but that, as far as I understand it, that is the case.
Interesting.
So it's weird.
Valentine said, "Just get drunk at shows and sell online."
That's pretty much my
That's where you're at.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. This year, I am 100% gonna have to commit to a Morph Market account and do that. So Morph Market is definitely gonna be my best friend this year because I'm producing quite a few babies, more than I have before, and pretty much everything's gonna be for sale other than a couple localities. But yeah, so
I sold a rhino recently, and that was the first time I've sort of activated my account on Morph Market, and
you sold it on Morph Market?
Yeah, it wasn't. I got a couple of inquiries, and I mean, granted, I put in the ad, like, if you want additional pictures of this animal or the parents, message me, and I had people that were like requesting more pictures, and I'd send them, and then they disappear. So, to be expected. But then the girl that ended up buying the one rhino I had, she messaged me, I think like the first day that I had posted it, got more pictures, said cool, thanks, and then I thought that would be the last time I hear from her. She came back, 2 weeks later and was like, I'll take it, and I was like, okay. So it was pretty smooth, considering to the things that Westmoreland and some of the other people that sell a lot on Morph Market, what they deal with on a regular basis. And
and I feel like it's different when you have 100 animals for
sale. Like, statistically you're gonna get more of the bullshit.
Yeah, like for me, I'm going to be posting a lot of locality rat snakes, and in that sense, I'm going to make I know Morph Market changed something to where they were like, you can't post a couple pictures and be like, this is 2 of 10 that are for sale, hit me up.
Right.
But it was only for a couple species, and I don't think that affected me and what I sell. As far as
you couldn't use like a generic picture for multiple sales.
Yeah, they said that for certain species, but I don't think that affected me. So like what I'll do is I plan on taking a bunch of pictures of my stuff that I post on there and pretty much having them on deck. So if somebody's like, hey, can you send me more pictures? It's not really
what I did.
Yeah, it's not an inconvenience to me. I can just send them, and if they fuck off, then they fuck off. Like it's not.
Well, it worked out because with the plan that I had, which was like the $10 a month plan or whatever, you could only post, I think, like 2 pictures max, anyways, and I had taken like 8 or so. So
yeah, so if somebody messages, so can I get more pictures? Then they're just on there, and you can send them right away. And if they ghost you, they ghost you. If not, they don't. So.
It was weird. I did notice that when you attach pictures, it seemed to sort of compress the file a little bit, and it didn't make it as sharp as it was, which was kind of frustrating because when you're trying to send pictures to somebody and get things as accurate as possible in terms of color and things like that, and it's a little wonky.
Dustin asked why, he said, Jake, why don't you vend Coluberfest? Dustin, I would love to vend Coluberfest, and I really, really thought about it. But there's several factors that go into that as to probably why I won't. Number one, it's pretty far. Number two, and this isn't talking bad about the show at all. I don't mean any bad way, any negative connotation. But the show is only on Sunday.
The expo portion of it.
Yeah, the expo portion of it is only on Sunday. So that would make things a little harder for me, being a one-day expo type of thing. And I think a lot of people are going to be leaving on Sundays. And for me, it's a long drive. I don't really want to ship all my animals up there. So
yeah,
I just don't know if it's
again.
It's in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's right.
So that's about, for me and Smitty, that's about a 10.5-hour drive, which isn't. It's not terrible.
Stops, I think we're looking closer to like 12.
Yeah, and which like that to me, it's not light work, but it's doable. I've made that drive before. It's not horrible, but with animals and vending a show and all that, I'm not sure it's going to be worth it for me personally. Especially with the amount of animals I have and the type of stuff that I work with, it would just be. It's going to be more hassle, and I don't know if it's worth it. I would consider it more if the show was on Saturday. I'll put it that way. If the show was on a Saturday, I would consider a little bit more. Yeah, or both days. I would consider a little bit more, but being on a Sunday and being so far, I don't know if it's really worth it for somebody like me and the stuff I work with. So that's just me. Again, I'm not talking bad about Fest or anybody vending for it. It's just where I'm at, the stuff I work with, everything that goes into it. Not sure it's going to be my type of show to vend.
I'm sad I can't go, man. It's going to be awesome.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go yet or not.
If I'm gunning to just do attend, I want to fly. I'm not going to drive just to spend a whole day on the road just to hang out there for 48 hours and then drive. I'd rather just fly and get it over with.
Well, if I go, I'm going to go on a Thursday, leave Thursday morning, get there Thursday night, and then have all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then drive back on Monday type of thing.
Yeah.
So it would be,
kind of like what we do for Daytona.
Yeah, it would be the whole ordeal. It would just be a lot more driving.
I just feel like with flight tickets at the price they are currently to go there, it'd be cheaper to fly for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a lot of gas.
I don't know. For me, I know my truck very well, and the gas that I get, I could get there if I ran my tank out between there and back. I would have to fill up twice.
Really?
Yeah, I would have to fill up when I leave, fill up halfway there, and by the time I get there, I'll have a little gas. I'll still have some gas left. Fill up when I leave, fill up halfway back. And then
how many miles is it?
It's pretty far. I go off hours. I don't know actual mileage, but like when I went to Sky's, when I left Sky's house, I still had like half a tank, and I drove for an hour and I filled up, and I was 4 hours away and I drove straight through and I still had a quarter tank. So I can get about 5 to 6 hours on a tank of gas in my truck.
Wow.
Roughly.
Your truck does get good mileage.
Good enough. Good enough, at least as far as highway goes.
Could be way worse.
Could be much, much worse. I drive a Tacoma, so it's a half-size truck life. So it's not terrible.
Shout out Toyota.
Hell yeah. Like Daytona, like when we go to Daytona, if I fill up when I leave, I don't have to get gas between here and Daytona. If it's just me riding and Smitty's not with me chugging energy drinks, I won't stop. Like I'll drive straight there with no stops, not have to get gas, not stop for anything.
The longest I drove in the car without stopping for anything was when my late mentor moved from my area to Greenville, North Carolina, and I drove his F-150 single cab with I think it was a 50-gallon tank he had on there, something crazy, maybe 40-gallon tank. And I drove
the F-150.
Yeah, it was like under the bed. It was huge. And he's like, I filled it up, so you shouldn't have to buy it. But when you get to town, when you need gas, put in like $30 worth, whatever, just to keep it going, and then I'll take care of it when I fly up to meet you. And dude, I drove from Deerfield Beach, Florida, which is just north of Fort Lauderdale, up to, God, I guess like the middle of North Carolina, like just past. No, you know what? It was just past the South Carolina border on I-95 on one tank of gas. It was crazy.
Because I know you can, for some of those Fords, you can buy like updated gas tanks, because I'm pretty sure the biggest gas tank that most of those come with is like a 20-gallon. So he must have had like a
I think it was
aftermarket tank on there.
he had a toolbox in the bed right up against the cab, and I think that was the tank. Memory served me right. I think that was. Yeah. But I mean, obviously he's gone now. There's no sense, no way to ask him. But yeah, that was crazy. I just remember that. That was also the same trip that I had this feeling like something was watching me, and I turned my head to the right, and an adult male California king snake was staring at my eye right here, like tongue flicking my eyebrow. And I was like, oh God. And I swerved and I went to grab him, and he flew onto the floor, and I had to pull over and get his ass. Yeah. I had like 180 snakes in that cab with me when I drove up. It's crazy. all in bags and delis. And
Yeah. I try not to stop. Like, I always keep water on me. I try not to stop until I need gas.
yeah,
If I need gas, that's when I'll stop, take a leak, and rock and roll, But if it's just me driving, I pee and fill up before I leave, and I'm normally good for about 5-6 hours. I sip water the whole way. I don't do caffeine or any of that, so I'm not chugging energy drinks. Cough, cough, Smitty. I'm not chugging energy drinks or water or anything like that. Like, I always sip on some water.
you
And
got your 3 milli sugar gliders.
my 3 milli sugar glass sheep. Yeah, I rock with the sugar gliders and just pretty much keep it rolling the whole way.
It's good, man.
So,
It's good.
yeah. You had me dying this morning when you texted me about that.
Dude, I did hilarious, bro. Hilarious. For anyone who's curious, a 3 milli sugar glider is a citrus flavored Zin. There you go.
It's just
is that what that is?
3 milligram Zins in general. We call them sugar gliders. So,
oh God.
That's it. Yeah, I'm on that Zen life hard.
You guys hear all that static?
Yeah, somebody's giving me a lot of feedback right now.
Who is it?
I think it's you, Smitty.
I don't think it is.
I think it's Jake. My microphone's muted.
It's Smitty.
Oh yeah, it's Smitty. It's Smitty.
Yeah. I know it's not me.
Well, unmute it now and we'll see. Yeah, it's Smitty.
What are you doing, Smitty?
I don't know. Maybe it's the Will Smith I'm playing or something in my headphones.
Maybe.
The Will Smith.
No.
And see, I thought it was going to Miami.
But yeah, man. Smitty, are you thinking about making Colubrid or what do you think about doing for that, bud?
I'd like to.
I'd like to go. I'm most definitely probably not vending, but I would like to go. Yeah, for sure.
I when they initially announced it and said, if you're interested in vending, here's like a Google form to fill out, and I filled that out, but that was not realizing that it was a one-day thing, because I'm in the same boat. If I don't want to take all that stuff with me, and it'd be a one-day show for a few hours. Who knows how that's gonna pan out. I'm of the same opinion that Jake is on the one-day thing. But in terms of attending, I definitely would like to.
I feel like a lot of people are doing the same thing. Like, they want to see what the show's all about. They want to be there and see the people and be part of the Colubrid community, but they don't quite necessarily want to schlep all their vendor stuff,
If I was closer, I would do it 100%. But it's going to be a hard trip with animals. And as I'm one of those in between, like, I'm not so far that I can't drive, but I'm also not so far that I would like to ship my animals. So it's a weird spot to be in, especially for a one day, as far as the expo goes, being a one day thing. So, because like for me, I'm looking at it, and again, this, like, I don't want anybody to think this is me talking any type of bad about, like,
no, not at all,
like
not
the
at
show,
all.
But for me, if I was going as a spectator for the whole weekend, I'm leaving on Sunday because I got work on Monday.
Right.
So I'm staying maybe half day on Sunday, heading back, but especially me being in the Southeast, I'm leaving Sunday early to midday, heading back home. Because I got work on Monday. So it's one of those things, like, I just, it's going to be hard. And plus, I am one of those people that will probably have work that Monday. So it would be harder for me as a vendor unless I take the extra day off of my actual job. And in which case, like, it would be,
See, I need to, my problem is I I accrue a ton of time off throughout the year, but because I don't really take time off, like I end up getting a bunch, and then at the end of the year, it's like I have, a lot of hours of time off that just wasn't used, and I don't get a payout or anything for that. So I kind of need to get better about using it. But the problem is like we're so busy at work that if I take time off like that, then I come back to having to sort of double time it and put twice as much in to get stuff caught up and back to zero. So it's kind of like the same situation that I was in at the cigar shop, where it was like if I took time off, I had to make that time up, as stupid as that is. So I had to be really selective about the time off I took, because I know that I'd have to work, like 2 weeks straight. And that's not exactly the case with this job, but coming back to a lot of stuff,
Yeah, see, for me, I don't really have the issue. Every 2 weeks I accrue time off, and I don't start losing my PTO until I go over 250 hours, I think. So it just builds and builds and builds until I hit that. And then once you hit,
you were a shoveliner.
Yeah, I'm a government worker, so I don't lose anything if I don't use it at the end of the year. But if anybody knows me, I herp a lot and I travel herp quite a bit, so I don't necessarily have that much time at the end of the year, and my time is sacred. So I pretty much save all my time for Daytona and my herp trips. I get like 6.3 hours every 2 weeks of leave time.
It's damn near a whole shift. Jesus.
I mean, dude, I've been with the county for 7 years now, so it's I've earned it as far as like accruing it on my leave time. So it's nice.
I want to talk to my boss about that, because it would be nice to, like, even if it's half of what it would be worth, like, to get a payout at the end of the year, time that's not used. It's like, at least it's something,
Right.
Just someone who doesn't take a whole lot of time off in general, it's like I kind of leave a bunch of money sitting on the table, and it's like, at least give me like half the value of whatever that is.
And that's the thing with the county is every year around December, they give you an optional leave payout. So if you want to, you can fill out a form and you can submit up to 40 hours of your leave and get a paycheck for it.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a Christmas bonus, but
Seems reasonable.
But it's at your discretion. So if you don't want to use it, it's either half of what you have up to 40 hours. So if you have 100 hours, you can put 40 hours in and be good. But if you only have 60 hours on the books, you can put in 30, which is what I did last year. I had like 60 to 70 hours. And so I cashed out 30 hours leave, got a paycheck, and that was how I bought Christmas presents for everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but that's up to you. You don't have to do it. That time will still accrue, and you keep accruing it till 250 hours. And once you're at that 250 hour mark, they pretty much you either use it or lose it.
Yeah.
So like there's guys like once they get up to that point, they take every Friday off because like it's use it or lose it. And so it works out for them. I will never get to that point because I go and do and travel as much as freaking possible. So I will never be one of those people.
Yeah, I still feel like even if that's not like, I don't feel like I'm in a position to where I could do that, even if it is an option, but just sort of when you're in charge of the operation and stuff, to just be like, oh, I got to take time off, so I got to take a 3-day weekend for the next 5 weeks. Yeah. It's like that puts myself in a spot, that puts my people in a spot, And it's it's weird. I'm so used to not taking time off that to take time off is just borderline anxiety inducing for me, because like, I know that I'm going to have to. I'm coming back to not necessarily a shit show, but a much more hectic week or two following.
And that's why I don't envy guys like you. I talk to people with like normal jobs, and I'm like, man, that sounds like
production related jobs.
Yeah, like for me, like I'm a construction site inspector as far as stormwater is concerned. So when I'm gone, like I make my own schedule. nobody does my work for me. If I'm gone, like nobody covers for me. The only thing that gets missed if I'm gone is if somebody calls or texts me needing a certain thing done on a job, then like I'm SOL or they're SOL. It doesn't affect me, like it's on them. Then they just call the county, one of the other inspectors takes care of it, or they wait till I come back in. Like I don't have anybody like having to make up for my work. And if I do, it's something very, very simple. So like I have to make sure my work's caught up and then I can be gone as long as I need to be.
That's awesome.
And it would be different if we get a fourth person, like a fourth body, which I've been asking for because we're at the point now where it's like we have to have another person. That would definitely, I wouldn't feel as bad about taking time off at that point because I know there's someone there that can still keep things running and the printers going and stuff like that. But right now it's like I'm up front printing and doing admin stuff. So if I'm gone, like that leaves a pretty big gap in things. So I was going to take Friday off over the weekend actually, and then ended up deciding not to, and just to keep things flowing. And it's again, it sucks, but I also feel like if you're in a position of leadership in that regard, like you're kind of the one that's got to fall in the grenades.
Yeah, and it's different when you're like a manager, general manager. Like both of you guys are managers at your jobs,
VP of operations.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. It's harder for you guys because you kind of run the show. Me, I'm just a peon at my job. I'm in. It's funny because like I get paid like a supervisor, but I don't have anybody under me because I am basically my own supervisor. I make my own schedule. I do my own thing. Like nobody watches over me, so I get paid like
the tight shit.
But like I'm the boss of myself type of thing. Like I have a boss for sure, but nobody knows what I do on any given day, and like so I just it's a good setup for me. It's nice, but it's.
Jake drives out to Seabrook and sleeps in his car for half the day. No one knows it.
I used to do that. I actually did that one time. Back when I was in my other position, like nobody really knew what I did. So I was up to like 6 a.m. and I had to be to work at 6:30 and I didn't sleep like
breed in the office.
Yeah, so I came in, clocked in, and was like, all right, I'm going out for the day. And I literally parked in Seabrook on some back road in the woods. And I just leaned my chair back and was like,
a really good way to get robbed.
Yeah, I was out for like 3-4 hours, dude. It was bad. I felt like a terrible person. I have not done that since, but yet that has happened before. Now I have an office, so if I have to do that, I just close my door. And
it's just tough. People talk about like work-life balance and stuff all the time, and it's like it's so much easier said than done, especially when you're sort of in the place like Phil and myself and like Chris Painchab too. He's another one. Like he's in a supervisory role, and it's like if he's not there and something goes wrong, like he's got to go there. Like he's in a sort of a high stress job where it's like him taking time off. He's in sort of the same boat. It's like he can, but do you really want to? Is it worth the headache? So, I don't know.
And that's why, like, every time I complain about my job, I think about all of these things, and I'm like, it's really not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I'm basically my own boss. I get paid relatively well, and I don't have anybody looking after me or looking above me, so pretty much just ride it out.
It is nice to know that I can take time off and not have to make it up.
PTO is a real thing, man.
I know.
Like having PTO. Oh my
God, I have sick days, like
yeah.
I can not come to work when I feel like I'm dying, which is rare, but hey, it's Scott.
Yeah, that is one thing. I get PTO and I get sick time. So I get like 6 hours and some change for personal time. Then I get like 3.5 hours of sick leave on the same time. So I get almost 9 hours of technical leave time. And it's bad, dude. Like, this is going to sound like I'm talking bad about the county the entire time. But like with my county, I only have to provide a sick leave slip if I'm gone for 3 days. If I'm gone for 3 days straight, then I have to provide a doctor's note saying why I'm gone these days. But like if I wake up and I'm like, yeah, my tummy kind of hurts, so I could be like, yeah, I'm out sick today. Bye. it's
Our
bad.
bookkeeper was like, you can take time off. Like you have sick days. You don't have to be sick. And I'm like, why would I do that?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
are you telling me you want me to get out? Like,
I never understood why people would waste. Like, I understand emergencies happen, but like, why waste an actual sick day on frivolity? Like,
Because you have sick time that you rarely use. You don't want to use your personal time, so you take a sick day because you don't
to
feel
me,
like
they're
going
one and
to
the
work.
same.
yeah. See, I don't get any of that. I work for mom and pop shop, and I don't get sick days. But the 4 times I've been sick in 15 years, I just got paid for it. If I'm out for a day or so, like obviously something's wrong, and my employer he just pays me anyway. So it's not written in stone or anything, but it's there.
Scott said sick days are for herping, and that's exactly right.
Nice.
If I have a trip planned, then I'll use PTO, like personal time off. I use PTO, but if like it's a last minute, like, hey, come here today, I'll call out the morning of, be like, hey, I don't feel good, sick day, rock and roll.
Jeez.
Because
even that, dude, I feel like an immeasurable amount of guilt if I do that, and I'm not.
because you're not a real herper, Smitty.
I guess so. It's just like,
herper.
it's like all
Steve,
of a sudden, I've now thrown my other 2 coworkers into a predicament because I still tell, even on days that I'm off, I'm like, I have my phone on me. If you need me, please call me. Like, don't think that because I'm off, you can't call or text me. Like, for the love of God, I guarantee you, I'm not even doing anything that important. Fucking call or text me if you have questions, and they still won't do it. But it's like,
and see, that's
I couldn't
why
really do that. I just leave them in a spot that I don't want to.
And see, that's why it's different for you and Phil. Like, if I'm gone for a day, nobody has to look after me. My contractors call me or text me, like, personally. And if they don't hear back from me, then they just don't hear back from me and they have to suck it. If they really need something, they can call the county and they'll send an email, one of my coworkers to take care of it. Like, it's one of those things that, like, nobody has to look after me if I'm gone. So, like, it's a lot easier for me. You know? And again, this is all why, like, I'm grateful for the job I have and the position I'm in. I can do all this stuff, and I talk to other people, and I'm like, damn, is that what real life is like? That sucks.
Scott said, as I argued previously, there's a 14% chance that a sick day is Friday or Monday. And it's funny you say that
100%.
because for me, it's like a 98% chance that it's a Friday.
Right.
And I usually don't find out until about 8:30 that morning, and we start at 9. So there's one person in particular that has a very pernicious case of getting sick at 8:30 on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
Consistently, and it's like,
just
at this point, like, just don't even lie to me. Just tell me you don't want to come in. Like, for the love of God, like,
and see that that's my thing. If I know I'm gonna be sick on a Friday or Monday, I wake up at like I clock in at 6:30. If I know I'm gonna be sick that day, like I'll send my email like 5:30.
Right.
But my boss doesn't get in until 7:30. But my other coworkers, we clock in at 6:30. So everybody knows like an hour before, like, okay, Jake's not gonna be it. It's chill, But
yeah,
I haven't
strong on you like that. It's like, I know you didn't just wake up at 8:30 when you're supposed to work at 9.
Yeah, if you're sick,
like,
if you're actually sick, like an hour before that.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt at like 8 o'clock, maybe. But when it's consistently on a Friday, it's like, just stop lying to me. Just tell me. Like, I know the game we're playing. Like, just come on.
And see, like, my thing is like everybody comes up with like an actual excuse. They're like, I have a stomach bug or like fucking
I have dengue fever right now.
I have an
Right.
ingrown toenail. Like, Smitty, I bring that up because Smitty said that. For me, like, if I'm actually going to call out sick,
I forgot about that.
like morning of, I'll be like, hey, I don't feel well. I won't be in today. That's it. I don't come up with some bullshit lie.
I straight up had someone
I
tell
just
me
have
I have
to-
an ingrown toenail. I can't come in today, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like,
Jeez.
I would have. Tell me like your dog ate your homework or something. Like,
Right.
just
And
come
Scott said it best. I've always said to my staff, you can have a mental health day. I would prefer you tell me earlier and I will be fair. Like 100%. Like
absolutely.
if you need a mental health day, just let them know in advance. It's all about advancement. It's not about not coming in. It's about letting them know, especially if somebody has to cover for you. Like me, I can let somebody know morning of and nothing changes. Nothing changes for my coworkers, but for guys
I will be
like
considerably
Scott
less irritated and annoyed if you just tell me up front.
right. For guys like Scott and yourself, when somebody has to actually cover for you, then it's like it's a completely different story, But like for me, like nobody covers for me. I still have my work phone here. Like if something has to be dealt with, I'll still deal with it. Just at my house, and it is what it is. But like in most scenarios, it's like, let a bitch know earlier than later and we're good, And don't give me some BS lie. But ain't no glaucoma.
I got a good laugh out of the ingrown toenail one because I was like, I've heard a lot of reasons, but that's a first.
Yeah.
And they have the time off, so it's not like you can be like, bullshit, get to work. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
You can't really tell me.
I know you're full of shit, but I can't tell you no. So.
And that's the thing. What I think I found that funny because like I think that one stuck with me when you told me about that because I have like excessive ingrown toenails like constantly. Never once have called out of work for an actual ingrown toenail. Like it sucks. And like I get them like regularly, especially like they affect me more when I'm herping and I'm on my feet a lot. But like never once called out and used ingrown toenail as a thing. And I actually am on my feet for my job every single day. Like
they are saving the Florida fines for flipping 10. Is that happening Thursday?
I was actually going to talk to you about that. I didn't know if you had a plan for THB Thursday. So Thursday.
I need to talk to Chris and see if they're planning to reschedule the alternate episode that the ball got dropped on. I don't know. I figured you guys would do it this week. So
yeah, we did it last week, so I didn't know if you had plans for THB. But if we don't have plans for THB, then yes, we would like to do Flipping 10 this Thursday, so we can do a Daytona recap. Or not Daytona recap.
I was going to say, wait.
A South Florida recap. Yeah, and now that Phil's back. Phil.
Is Phil going to join you on that episode?
Sorry, I don't mean to keep leaving the screen. I had to take more Benadryl, man. I'm fucking.
He's dying.
You're good, bro.
Yeah.
Phil, what are you doing Thursday?
I don't know, but I was kind of hoping that I might be able to record some content. I don't know. Why? What'd you have in mind?
Well, we were supposed to do technically
nothing. There's no technical calendar for any of this.
No, technically THP would be scheduled for this Thursday, but since we're slacking on THP so hard, we were probably going to see about doing a flipping 10 on Thursday. And if you're available to join,
I'll be there.
We want to do the real South Florida recap.
Yes,
we'll be there with bells on.
Yes, cool. And mosquito bites.
Yes,
mosquito bites.
So if you're available Thursday, you're welcome to come on. And
I'm in, baby.
Cool. So if anybody's listening now, seems like a lot of the people here tonight, because of the numbers that we've been getting, they don't watch Flippin' 10 live which is fine. That's cool. You know, this podcast is obviously cooler than Flippin' 10, whatever. But we do Flippin' 10 live every other Thursday, so you should check that out. So this Thursday, since Smitty just approved and we don't have THP planned, me, Sky, and Phil, since he will be available, will be doing a live show about our South Florida recap from this weekend. And I'm not saying we can't talk about it all tonight, but we wanted to leave the nitty gritty details for Flippin' 10.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes for Flippin' 10. Because this was me and Sky's like first solo trip. Pretty much. Like this was our first solo trip for like, you know, together. So other than Phil coming out Saturday, you know, so this was like our real Flippin' 10 only trip. So we're trying to save the big time stories for that show. So yeah. So be sure, be there, be square this Thursday.
All the cool kids are chiming in.
Yeah. So
what was the final tally on Deckard's eggs?
Deckard's egg. So that was, oh man, that was a stressful clutch, dude. Yes. So Scott,
That's
I've
them
been
not getting scheduled early enough by me.
Yeah. No, and it's also not like, because I know it's going to come up. I just don't do it early enough, and I normally put it on my story. But Scott, yes, I'm trying to be better about posting something about Flippin' 10 being live on
We'll
this
send
day.
out the reminders and stuff periodically when you do it, sort of ahead of time. So.
I'll try and do it more ahead of time. Ahead of time as far as the lives go. We do it every other Thursday. So every Thursday it's either going to be THB or Flippin' 10. But I try to make a post about it. I'm just bad about doing it as of recent because I've been super busy. But yes, so everybody now who's listening, Thursday,
8 o'clock,
8 p.m. EST, we will be live. So, and Scott, you're not being a pain at all. I'm trying to get better about doing that. So I normally, like, when it's the day of, I don't make a whole post about it. I do it on our story. That's the thing. I always make a post, sometimes never on the page. It's usually on the story. So I post something on the story. Not everybody sees that. So
I find that people are, because of TikTok and YouTube Shorts and everything, I feel like people are looking at more stories more now than they are anything else on Instagram.
Right. So yeah.
Like I've been posting every time I post a reel or a photo, I'll post it to the story, and the story gets more hits in the first 2 hours than the photo does. So
yeah, for sure.
I've given up on trying to figure out that, you know, the way the algorithm, the ominous algorithm is working anymore.
Dude, I can't. Like, part of me,
I just don't care anymore. I'm like, whatever. It's going to change in 2 weeks anyways. Like,
I've started to think that now it's moved more towards your description of your post. For some reason, if I write like a fucking novel in my post, I get more interaction on it.
Which is crazy because I've been seeing a lot of clickbait, and like, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll watch like you know, people fighting or race cars or whatever, clickbait shit.
Fighting race cars?
Yeah, race cars that fight. And then I'll look at the description because it'll be like, oh, where did this race car crash? You know, and it's not anything about the video. It's like
not at all.
The Mercedes-Benz XL2 was invented in 1995. And it's like a whole dissertation.
I've noticed that too.
And that's got to be what Jake's talking about. They're copy and pasting some Wikipedia article about Mercedes just to fill in that massive thing.
Yeah, that's one thing
at least once to see how it works.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed with Instagram, especially as of late. It'll be a random video of like some funny, stupid fucking bullshit. And the description will be like, no problem. Here's the info on XYZ. And it's this whole long thing about some car.
Yep, that's it.
Like, that's like I I don't get it.
And they're the ones with millions of followers and views.
Yes. So lately, like not lately, I don't try to do it, but my last 2 posts, I more so made a description about something that happened, and it wasn't for that. It was just simply because I wanted to share what was going on in my collection, in my life, in my clutches.
Another route you could go that would be interesting, though, is if you take the species you're doing a reel on and you take that information from Wikipedia and just copy and paste it, and then people are at least getting something out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the thing. True. This isn't even a reel. These are pictures that I put a song to and that I put something over it. And, you know, like I think my post about my Apalachicola gray rats got like it was 1 or 2 pictures in one post, and I wrote like a whole thing about it, and got like 100 likes on it or some shit. And I'm like,
oh, wow,
Jesus Christ, you know. But as far as your question with the Deckards, Smitty, so that was a very stressful clutch. So I just made a post about it today finally because I can breathe now. So if anybody knows me, you know my Deckards are my pride and joy. I have 2 pairs, and the Deckards are just a very unique and specific locality of quote unquote Eastern rats. These are the Deckardi as far as the old nomenclature goes. But these are Southern Key Largo rat snakes or Deckards rat snakes. So these are by far my favorite rats. They are a smaller insular island locality of rat snake from Southern Key Largo. So I had a pair cohab this year. I cooled them because they were older. I didn't really expect them to breed, but I had a pair cohabbed, and this is pretty much why I don't like cohabbing stuff. And that is not a dig on anybody that cohab stuff. It's just a preference for me. I don't love cohabbing, but I had some cohabbing for a while, and I cooled them down, fed them up, whatever. And I had them together, and I really wasn't expecting anything. All of a sudden, like, hey, they're breeding. I poked in on them. The male's got the female behind the neck on the head, like biting her, breeding her, like whole thing. And I was like, well, I guess this is where they're at. Like we're breeding. Like, okay, rock and roll. And obviously I'm excited. So because these are my favorite locality. So why do you think they are worthy of specific recognition, Jake? Or sub specific recognition. So
because taxonomy's fake.
So yeah. So this is that's a hard question because, like, as a locality guy, I work with these things hands on, day in and day out. And I see the physical differences. I see the attitude differences. There's so many differences in these things. But apparently now everything east of the, I believe, Phil, east of the Mississippi. Am I correct?
On what?
As far as rat snakes go.
Oh, yeah.
East of the Mississippi, they are considered eastern rat snakes. So everything from there on out is a eastern rat snake. That includes black rats, yellow rats, Everglades rats, Deckards rats. All of these things used to be different subspecies of rat snakes. I'm not saying they should be different species. I'm saying they should be different subspecies because I work with all of these individuals and all of them are different.
Dude, they're totally different, man.
They're completely totally different. So my yellow rats are different. And I'm still unclear if like Florida gray rats are considered eastern rats, even though they are.
They call them gray.
Yes.
So in Florida, we have gray rats up north, right, like the very tip, and then we have yellows throughout the whole state. Everglades are basically no more. Like no one calls them.
Everglades are out the door. My only question is the gray rats from the Apalachicola area.
So, well, because you got gray rats in Apalachicola, and then you got gray rats on the Jacksonville side too, like southern Georgia side.
Yeah.
And as far as the state's concerned, they're both just gray rats. But your Keys corn or your Keys rat snake, whatever you want to call it, your Decker eye, right?
Yeah.
Is not only state protected, but it's Monroe County protected too.
Right.
So like super, super restricted because there is just none left. I don't think they're on the list. I think they're threatened. They're not endangered quite yet.
But see, they can't call them threatened or endangered because they're all eastern rats now.
Well, no, but they're saying
That's
that the Monroe County locality of a red rat snake and a blood red corn snake.
So you're talking red rats specifically.
I'm talking about what was Deckard and these blood corns from the Keys that like they have barely a checkerboard. They're just red corns that are also found in the Keys. Both of them are Monroe County protected.
Yes.
On a state level.
So yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard, you know, and Scott makes a good point, you know, people from different regions of the world, should they be considered different subspecies? And that makes sense when you talk about people versus snakes. You know, it is what it is. And I don't disagree with that. I just like, I guess I like the logic that things should be different. I guess, you know, when you look at the DNA and they're not, then they're not, you know, but it is what it is, you know. But you look at black rats versus yellow rats versus Deckards versus Everglades, like there's different.
I think that's what it is. Is like the painting with a broad stroke like that, just to put everything together into a thing like that. That's where the biggest issue is. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like if they had split it a little further and they're like, okay, so yellows and Everglades and, you know, Deckards or whatever, like we'll make those one thing, and then your grays, like those can be a thing, and then blacks and whatever. Like if they had sort of split it up like that, then it wouldn't be so outlandish. But to just be like it's all just an eastern rat snake is
right.
Come on,
it's almost like it's almost insulting, like, because like I understand, like, because you're completely disregarding physical attributes, because like, you know, you look at Deckards versus yellows, even though those are closer together than, like, as far as like phenotypic attributes, those are closer together than a lot of the other stuff they lumped together. But even then, like, you look at my Deckards that bred this year, it's less than half the size of some of my yellows that are out there. Like, you look at Rico is a 6.5 foot yellow that is just a fucking dump truck of a yellow rat. And Deckards are not that. Deckards are small. They're insular locality. They're down to a fucking island. You know, like they're very small locality of species. They're smaller. They're the way they act is different. You know, like Deckards. Like, everybody asks me, like, why do you like Deckards? Like, what really makes them different? And I tell you, if I put a yellow rat in your hands, it's going to go kind of nuts, like act a certain type of way as yellow rats do. They're going to act like a yellow rat. I put a Deckards in your hand, it's going to run for half a second, and then it's going to cinch onto you and hang on you almost like you're a tree. They're like the picture I posted today of that thing wrapped around my wrist. That's what those animals do every single time I take them out. They wrap onto me. They act like I'm a tree, and they hang on me. They cinch onto you. They just act different. They're harder to get feeding. They're a little bit more. They're just different in so many ways. But don't even get me started on like black rats. Black rats are huge. Black rats are monster animals. So like they're very, very big. They have big clutches, and they're just so different from a Deckards in every way possible. You're going to tell me they're the same thing from like their clutches are different. Their size is different. Their phenotype is night and day. Literally, one is black, one's super light. Like, you're gonna tell me they're the same animal though, but like, it's neither here nor there. Like, at the end of the day, they looked at the blood, they looked at the hemipenes, they looked at everything, and all that was apparent to make them the same. So
there's just the mega lumping.
Yeah. And it's even like, Mike brought up, Everglades rats and the Rosalini. Rosalini is completely done away with. Like,
Yeah.
I think my biggest issue with it now is somebody will say, I have this black rat and I have this yellow rat, and now I'm going to breed him. Oh, fuck. I just spilled my drink all over myself. That's cool.
Look, Scott, you got him all riled up.
He's all hot and bothered.
You got me all hot and bothered. But like, people will say, like, I have this yellow rat or this gray or this black rat, and I have this Everglades or this Deckerts. Technically, they're the same species, so I'm not crossing anything, and that just makes a muddled rat snake that kind of looks like a shittier version of either one.
Yeah.
It might look kind of cool
Greenish.
at the end. Don't even get me started. And so, like, I think that's my biggest thing with it is like, no, but like with this, people will justify crossing all these localities and being like, oh, it's still pure. It's not pure. That's why, like, when you talk to me, I don't use, like, I understand the whole scientific name of things, like when you use certain stuff. Like, I'm not against scientific names at all. But when you talk to me and about what I have, I tell you I have a Hernando County yellow rat. I have a Spartanburg County black rat. I have Southern Key Largo Deckerts. I have a Colleton County yellow. I have a Colleton County corn snake or red rat snake. Like, it's not like this whole. That's why I shy away from scientific names, because if you use scientific names, they're all the fucking same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you cross them together, you're going to create shittier versions of each one. Like, are they pure? Technically, yeah. As far as scientific names go, but as far as on paper, yes, they're still pure. They're still pure Eastern rats.
It's crazy to me. And maybe because I'm not in academia, maybe because I've never read the scientific papers or journals describing all these rat snake species, the most current one that has lumped them all together. But I would love to see the divergence spread between them. I can't imagine that they're all the same shit. I can't. They're just so vastly different.
And that's my issue, because as somebody who keeps all of them, I have, I talk about rat snakes like crazy. Unless you see my stuff, I don't think you realize how many different localities I have. Like, I've got over 100 snakes in my house, which, like, realistically, it's not that many. But when 90% of those are locality specific rat snakes, it adds up. And like, I have 10 different localities of yellow, over 10 localities of yellows alone.
Wow.
So it's one of those things. Even within yellows, I see the differences. Don't get me started on the different color phases. Like,
yeah,
that's when it really gets different. And how they act, how they just are. Their build. They're like some of those, like, you look at black rats versus Deckerts. Technically, on paper, as far as, genetics is concerned, they're the same fucking thing. And that couldn't be, in my opinion, they could not be more different.
Yeah.
Black rats can be gigantic 5-6 foot animals, eating medium rats without showing a single sign of a bulge. Like, yellow rats around here eat fucking squirrels. without batting an eye. They're gigantic.
Yeah.
But you look at
I found a couple weeks ago, dude. Oh my god.
yes. But you look at Deckerts. The Deckerts that bred for me this year, my female, 3 feet long.
Wow.
If that.
Yeah, they're not big. I saw them.
If that. A adult, regular adult, not even a jumbo, an adult mouse, and these things leave a massive
That's
bulge.
a big meal. Yeah.
That's a big meal. A regular adult mouse, not a jumbo, not an extra large mouse. A regular adult mouse leaves a massive bulge in these things, and
like the size of my breeding rhinos.
yes, so I'll put it to you this way. My black rats, I have Spartanburg County, South Carolina black rats. They eat the same size meal as my Deckerts. Currently, my black rats, you don't see a bulge when I feed them. My Deckerts, you see a big bulge when I feed them. My Deckerts bred. I wouldn't even think about putting my black rats together.
Wow.
Because they're too small. But my Deckerts, I just had them cohabit and they just bred. Like there's so many differences. Just getting past the whole phenotype, what the physical attributes of them are, like black, yellow, gray, orange, like all the shit. All that aside, there's so many things that make them different. And that is why, I'm not saying they should be a completely different species. I'm just saying subspecies, man.
Yeah.
I find
something more nuanced.
Yes. Just separate them. Kinda. I don't know, man. That's a whole thing, and I'm no scientist. I'm just an asshole that keeps all these dumb localities that nobody gives a shit about,
Oh, they do.
There's some do, but as far as yellow rats are concerned alone, like I said, I've got, and it sucks because I say yellow rats in general. And when I say yellow rats, I say yellow rats, but when I say yellow rats, I also say I'm also including Everglades and Deckerts and stuff like that. Like if I say yellow, like Everglades are a yellow type, Deckerts are a yellow type.
I don't do that.
It's in that like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like we've been doing this too long. I can't get behind that. A yellow rat's a yellow rat. A Glades rat's a Glades rat. A Deckert's a Deckert's.
Exactly.
And that's one of the. I was telling Jake this weekend. I've been. Thank God I have a Mike Kosicki, the wonderful human being that he is, has given me a pair of his captive bred Everglades rats. And for the past 3-4 years, I've been cruising like crazy trying to find Everglades. Okay. They're basically extirpated from where I'm at. They're extirpated from where I was going. I had great leads. Friends gave me fantastic leads of where they used to find them, where I used to find them, and they're just not around anymore. And I'm convinced that because of land development and roads and agriculture, the Everglades have integrated with the yellows because they are technically the same species, and the yellow genes overpower the red ones. 100%. So now you're not getting any red Everglades anymore. You're just getting a slightly pinkish hue, good looking yellow, until my buddy Marcus got a call for a snake in a neighborhood in Boca. And he drove out there. We're 5 minutes from my old house, and he found a 4.5, 5 foot neon red Everglades rat. That was clearly not someone's pet that got loose. It was just living in Boca. So they're there. It's just what causes those genes to express Everglades opposed to really pretty yellow? Was this a product of Everglades to Everglades naturally in the wild because of an isolated pocket in some neighborhood? Who knows? But I refuse to call an Everglades a yellow. It's a different animal. Yeah, there's going to be intergrades, absolutely, but it's a different animal. Yeah, they may share the same nomenclature scientifically, but that's a different animal in my book.
Yeah. And Mike brought up, he said, what about that killer rat snake you have, Jake, that looks like a yellow crossed with a Gulf hammock rat? So I have a yellow that is crossed with a gray of some type. So, and that is not a captive bred breeding. This is a wild caught animal. Okay. This came from Columbia County, Florida. And more specifically, I I don't have I can't remember. Lake City. This thing came from Lake City. So it's right at an intergrade line between yellows and grays. This thing has a yellow sock on its head. The rest of it is fucking pink.
Wow.
Straight up pink. If I showed this to you, you wouldn't know what it was. But it comes from that intergrade zone of yellows and grays. And so like that's where like it all that's where it's like it's just an eastern rat. It's not just an eastern rat. Like this is all these things are so different, man. Like it's as somebody who is a rat like locality connoisseur, more specifically a rat snake locality connoisseur, like it's annoying. And that's why like for me, like I know y'all I was still listening to y'all's episode with Niserg on the spider thing.
Yeah.
And how like I love it's been a great episode. I love it, and I love all these scientific names that y'all are dropping. I don't know shit about Jack when it comes to all of it, and that's fine. It's still great to listen to, and I love hearing y'all talk about it. But that's why it's so different. Like y'all talk about spiders and saying like, oh, like you pretty much have to say the scientific name or else nobody actually knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
With me and the stuff that I work with, you have to say where it's from, the color phase, or else nobody actually knows what you're talking about. Like for one, yes, the common name is a rat snake, and like that's fine and fucking dandy. But if I say it's a Pantherophis obsoletus quadrivitatus, that leaves a big old fucking blank on where it is, where it's from, what exactly it is. You know, it is. That's why we say the color type, the color phase, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and the county it's from, because that leaves no blanks. You know, like that to me is pure. If I tell you I have a Glades County yellow rat or a Glades County Everglades or a Hernando County yellow or a Colleton County yellow, there's no gaps. You know, like I have GPS coordinates for a lot of the shit that I have. To the exact spot where I came from, I have on my map a dot exactly where that snake was plucked from.
Yes.
So it's like there's no questions about it as far as purity goes, because like you're gonna tell if we're going off scientific names, I can take this snake that was plucked from Hernando County, Florida, and a snake that was plucked from Spartanburg County, South Carolina, and say it's pure. You know, as far as the market is concerned, yes. As far as the scientific name is concerned, yes, it's pure. In my book, it's not even close. That is hundreds on hundreds of miles away.
Right.
But it's the same snake.
Wild.
It's not, you know, to me. And that's like, you know,
it's wild that they think like that.
Yeah. And to each their own. Like, if somebody does that, I'm not going to say you're a piece of shit. I'm not going to judge you for it. Like, you can do your own thing. You know, I do my own thing, and I have certain thoughts on certain things, and I keep things to county specific localities. That is also why I charge more than the generic amount for my rat snakes, because to me, it's not a generic rat snake. It's not just a Allegheniensis.
Yeah.
It's not just a quadrivitatus. To me, it is a Hernando County yellow rat.
Yeah. Mike Kazicki just said that the glades he gave me are Florida City locality. Dude, that right there is not a yellow rat snake.
No, it's not.
And that thing's a year old. So like imagine what it's going to turn into.
You know, and Phil, I'm gonna pull one out for you right now. Hold on.
Please do.
Give me 1 second.
And Scott, I don't know if you're still listening. See that little pale face? It's like taipan light. Look at that.
Jake's my wonder wall.
Yeah, he is.
Rhino eggs are looking really good. The entire pied blood red clutch though is done. I thought I had one good egg still, and I checked the other day, and that one's on its way out too. So,
damn,
no pied blood reds this year.
So this is technically a male, but this is an Everglades rat snake. This is a male, Glades County,
That's
Everglades
a
rat snake.
hypocorn.
yeah, look at that thing, man. That's great.
That's not fucking. That's not yellow.
No.
That is not yellow.
And notice how it's not trying to eat your face?
No.
Yeah, because it's not a yellow rat snake.
I just ripped this thing out. Do you want to talk about that? I'll rip out a yellow rat snake, and it's not, it'll do the same thing.
Oh, really? Well, you're
Yeah,
defeating my purpose. I was saying that their temperament's different, but thank you.
They're not though. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
like
Most of the
that-
yellows we come across up here are pretty mellow.
Oh no, yeah, yellow's down by me. They'll eat your soul.
Really?
This is an Everglades rat snake. You know,
From
red.
you said from Glades County, right?
This is Glades County.
Yeah, it's wild,
Like
man.
this thing is red. That
And
is
it's
red.
only gonna get redder.
Yeah, like this is the complete opposite of any yellow rat that you'll ever find between Florida, South Carolina, wherever you can find yellows. This is not a yellow rat snake. This is an Everglades rat snake. Like, and like the pictures aren't coming up. Like Smitty said it best. That's a blood red corn snake. It is. This is like Smitty showed me his blood red corns, and I've I've got locality rat snakes that look exactly like that.
Yeah.
You know, like they're different, man. You know, and like look at that thing, dude. That's killer.
It's killer.
It's killer, man.
Can't wait for those saddles to disappear.
Yeah, right? Right?
Right?
Might get nuclear radiation from it if it keeps going that route. Get a Geiger counter around it and just beep, 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 beep.
Hold on 1 second.
Where's Rico? Rico's a cool snake. Rico's big.
What'd you grab? What'd you grab?
This is a Hernando County yellow rat.
Oh yeah. Look at the stripes. Look at the stripes.
Much, much different.
Yeah.
Same thing as Rico. Striping coming down. That's yellow. That is a yellow rat. And also, Phil, not lighting me up.
That's true.
I just whipped the sucker out of its enclosure and he was chill.
Nice. Good.
Does that one have sort of the same orangish sort of weirdness that Rico has?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's developing a lot of like orange blotching
Yeah, I don't even know how to
on
describe it.
him. Almost. And like some of them too, you can see a lot of white coming in right there. Look at that. See that white?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's chill. And this is a wild caught animal. Not by me, by a friend of mine. And he gave it to me. But like, you know, they couldn't be more different. You know, even over a laptop screen. You know, like couldn't be more different. So
I can tell from here that one's a female.
it's actually not. It's a male. You fucking loser.
I can smell the musk from here. Like as soon as I saw it, it was like I could smell it. Like
There's actually no musk.
the yellows just have a very particular musk to them, man. That's just like every time I see one, it's like I can getting the ghost sense of yellow musk.
The bears can smell the menstruation. Oh.
So
Thank you for noticing my shirt. Hit me up. We'll talk coins.
yeah. So, anyways, back to the original question that brought up this tangent, Smitty. I got 5 good eggs from the Deckerts. She laid 5, and when I checked on her, she was egg bound with 2 eggs, and she held on to them for several days, and I fed her a hopper. The day after I fed her a hopper, she dropped one of them, which was a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. She dropped one of them. And then I gave her a couple more days. And I was gone to the Everglades over this weekend. Came home last night, checked on her. She still had 1 egg. And as of this morning, she let go of the other.
Nice.
Were they good or were they bad?
So that's the other thing. I put them in the incubator just in case. If she dropped them when she dropped the rest of the clutch, I think they would have been good. But because she held on to them for an extended period of time, they appear to have veins, but the shell is trash. It's not velvety like the others. They're
It's
not
like
hard,
thin and patchy.
thin, patchy, and soft.
Yeah.
They're squishy. So I put them with the other 5 just in case, better be safe than sorry. But I do not expect them to go the distance. So with that said, though, this is another difference between like some of the just different rat snakes. So she's not big. I had an Apalachicola female lay for me, Apalachicola gray rat snake, white oak gray rat snake. She laid for me, and she's a little bigger, probably maybe about a foot bigger, eating the same sized rodents, doesn't leave as big of a bulge as the Deckerts, but a good size bigger, but the same rodents. She gave me 17 eggs.
Wow.
Without a single slug.
That's wild, man.
No slugs. 17 eggs, and she's small. She might be 4 foot.
Very fertile. How do the egg sizes compare in the Deckerts compared to like those?
Same exact size.
Same size?
Yep. Same size eggs. She just gave me a lot more, not that much bigger. Every single one fertile, not egg bound, no, nothing. Like they were identical size eggs. Everything was the same other than the snake itself being bigger. But the other thing is, so I have the Apalachicola give me 17 eggs this year. Last year, my Santa Rosa girl, also white oak gray, she was much, much larger than the girl who laid this year. She gave me 14. And a yellow rat that was much, much, much larger than her gave me 16.
Wow.
This girl was way smaller and gave me 17. All good, And even this year, my Santa Rosa girl, I bred her again. I got a clutch from her just a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, just last week, right before I left for the Everglades. She gave me 12 good.
Wow.
And she's way bigger. And so
killing it this year, bro.
That to me, yeah, I'm trying. That to me, though, is a testament of, no, I wouldn't even say slow growing. It's a testament of proper feeding and of how big these animals are supposed to be, and not getting them too big too fast and bringing them too young. The Apalachicolas that I bred this year and got the 17 eggs from, I raised them from babies. They're not big snakes. I've raised them for
how old are they?
They're 4 years old.
Okay, cool.
They are, make sure, they're 2020s.
Okay.
So they were 4 years this year. They bred for me. She gave me 17 perfectly good eggs. No slugs. She looked perfect coming out of it, and she's tiny.
Nice.
Last year, my Santa Rosa's also 4 years old. Gave me 14, but she was twice the size.
Wow.
So like to me that goes into, but like you, and it's weird. Like I didn't raise the Santa Rosas. I'm not talking about bad about the person that did. You know, but you look at my Santa Rosas, they're bigger, but they're squishier. You know, they
Yeah.
got little meat on the bones, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's anything bad at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hold my Apalachicola, ain't nothing squishy about those Apalachicola rats. They're solid. They're muscle. They're not big, but they're not tiny, and they're just solid fucking muscle. Because like I slow grew them. I did not power feed them whatsoever. If you looked at them, you'd probably say they couldn't breed. And if you looked at them and they did breed, you say, "Oh, they should give you a small clutch." She gave me a huge clutch of perfectly perfect eggs. And like that to me, and again, I hope nobody takes this like I'm talking bad about anybody. Like that's not what this is. Like to me, that is a testament to growing your stuff slowly
Yeah.
and the way it's a more natural growth versus get as big as you can, as fast as you can, so it can breed.
Exactly.
You know, like
I
4
don't think
years.
that's something we see as much in colubrids as you do like the ball python realm.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
you know, it's one of those things. Like for me with colubrids, with most stuff, 4 years is my minimum. Most people would say 3, 4 is my minimum. No matter how big it is,
Yeah.
it can be fast about 3 years old. I'm probably gonna wait for 4, but it can be small at 4 years old, and I'm probably gonna breed it. And that's what I did with my Apalachicolas. And then with pine snakes, for me, 5 years is normally the go with pines. You know, some of your Janai, with Janai specifically, 4 years is probably okay. But like my albino pines, I paired them up last year. They were 4. They're 2019s. Last year was 23, so they were 4 years old. And it's the same thing with my gopher snakes. I paired them both at 4 years old. They're both 19s. Didn't get shit from either one of them.
Wow.
Okay. This year, they're all 5 years old. Got clutches from both.
Wow.
So whether that be an age thing or whether it be they were with a male, so they kind of know how it goes, so they were used to it this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said for last year. None of them went. This year, both of them went. And this year they're 5.
Nice.
But they're also very big snakes. They're not small San Diego locality stuff. They're big. Like these are big fucking snakes. My Brewster County female is pushing 6 foot long. My albino Florida female is pushing 6 foot long. Like
Wow.
they're big snakes, you know. And so I just think all this to be said is like I think there's something. This to me kind of clarify. There's more to do with maturity than size.
Sure.
You know, and that for me is the Apalachicola Grays. Is last year they were 3. This year they're not that much bigger, but they were 4, and she gave me 17 good eggs.
Wow.
And I think there's something to be said for slow growing and considering maturity and actual health versus getting them as big and as quick as you can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. So, and the Deckards, the Deckards this year were 3 years old. They went, and the female got egg bound, and she gave me a really small clutch. So it's one of those things. Like if it was me, I wouldn't have bred them this year, but I had them cohabbed, and I didn't think they were to go, but they did. Like I wasn't trying to breed them. I just had them together. They are now separated, and they will stay separated until I decide I want to breed them. This is why I don't cohab a lot of stuff. I'm not mad about people who cohab stuff. I just like to decide if I'm even going to try. That's not saying they're going to go, but I like to decide if I'm even going to try to get them to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. It's a whole tangent, but
It's good stuff, man. It's good. We share your sentiment. We do.
So, but yeah, this year is going very well.
Excellent.
As far as animals go.
Got a lot of colubrids on deck, bro. I love it.
A lot of everything, and I think that's the coolest part for me is every single thing is locality other than the albino pines.
Nice.
The albino pines are Florida's, Southern's, Florida's, whatever you want to call it. They're Florida pines. I don't have county specific because that's hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard because they are protected and you can't just take them anymore.
Right.
So they are not locality specific. They are both Floridas. They are albinos. So that's the only thing going this year that is not county specific localities.
Nice.
And that just tickles me in so many ways. It makes me so happy. So
good.
Yeah.
Good, man. Long leaf reptilian.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Well, boys, we're at the 2-hour mark. Anything else you want to touch base on?
Rhinos are pretty cool.
Brandon asked me, do you still have the Dion's?
I do. So those are going to Billy Hunt. Taking those down to him at Daytona. So
cool beans.
I do still have them though. I still have the Bimaculata. I think those are gonna go down with them too.
All right, cool.
I forget you even still have those, bro. Like honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even really been posting much on the Instagram and stuff. So
yeah,
busy as hell.
And I saw somebody asked earlier what time for Flippin' 10. So it is 8 p.m. Eastern Central Time.
Eastern
Standard,
not Eastern.
Eastern Central.
It's late. It's late.
All right.
A long weekend. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. on Thursday. So if you want to check that out, come hang out. Phil will supposedly be there.
Yes. With bells on.
With bells on.
Yes. Good.
Ring, ring, ring.
So we will be going over the South Florida recap, which you really don't want to miss because we got some stories.
Some stuff. Photos and videos to boot.
Yes. So
this episode was brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram. Use that code THN at checkout. Save yourself a little bit of money. Pickup option available if you're in the general Southeast region. Hop on up there, pick it up, take it home, set it up, love it forever. FullVSapparel.com. Use that code THN at checkout as well. Get 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. Definitely going to be doing some sort of 4th of July sale. Probably might even start a little early. I don't even know what the calendar is looking like. Let me pull up this bad boy real quick. Let's see. Today's the 24th. So, yeah, probably starting next week. I'll run something through the following Monday. So, stay tuned for that. Cold-blooded caffeine, best coffee around. Get you some stuff. Use the promo code SMOKE at checkout and get a little something off the top there too. So, Flippin' 10 Thursday, check it out. Again, I'm going to talk to Chris and see if there's any plan to reschedule the alternate episode. That's one I'm really bummed that didn't happen because I was actually really anxious to hear that episode too. So have to see about scheduling that and setting it back up. So
yeah, man.
Other than that, we will see everybody later.
Hopefully I'll see all y'all Thursday.
Bye.